Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights, and Beyond. Today, we are talking about Season 1, Episode 16, Black Eyes and Broken Hearts. Zach?
As the fallout of racism continues, Matt tries to patch things up with Julie. Jason gets pumped for the Olympics, and Coach looks for every excuse to put football above what, in my opinion, would be right.
What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights, and Beyond. This particular episode was written by Patrick Massett and John Zinman, who actually also wrote the episode Get Her Done. It's not Get Her Done, it's Get Her Done. Get her done.
Oh, boy.
Larry the Cable Guy, fellow Nebraska native.
Wow. Man, I'm learning so much on this podcast.
It was directed by Jeffrey Reiner, who we all know. We all know Rhino. What up, Rhino? I'm the only one that calls him that. And the children across the table from me today, because Mae is in studio with us.
We brought macaroons.
Just rolled their eyes at me.
Macarons?
Macarons? Macaron.
What's the difference between the coconut
Macaroon.
and this? Is the coconut
Macaroon,
thing?
I think, is the coconut thing, and macaron is
Cool.
the
The French,
pronunciation for the French.
Whoa.
Well, there's one of
Wait,
each.
I just learned another thing. I thought those were macaroons.
Listen,
There's one of each flavor.
somebody out there in the comments is definitely going to come at me and tell me that I'm wrong, but that's fine
This
because
is
you
how
know
we
what?
learn.
Somebody in the comments actually came to my defense last week.
Here we go.
Irregardless is a word. It's just where you use it.
But they just added that, I feel like. I feel like they added that after
I
George
don't
Bush
care.
wouldn't stop using it.
I don't care. It's meant to be a word, and it is a word now. Let's move on. The opponent for this week's game, which is not super important until the final quarter of the episode, where you find out that that town is really racist, like even more racist than what we've been dealing with in Dillon. Dunston Valley, and I would be pissed if I was the school that Dunston Valley is based upon.
And who is it?
But the Dunston Valley Cardinal is actually based on Del Valley.
Oh.
Yes, Del Valley, the Del Valley Cardinals. Their uniforms look very much like Louisville
You've
Cardinals.
never heard of the Great Del Valley?
You truly made me feel like you knew what was going on for a second, and I was like,
have
what?
no
Oh, my
clue.
God.
No, he does.
That was good acting.
Del Valley. Yeah, I know.
Del Valley is where Panther Stadium is built.
Yeah.
Del Valley is the
Oh,
part of
across from the
Austin,
airport?
Texas. Yes, Del Valley is the part of Austin, Texas, where we actually built this, what we hoped would become like kind of a community center or
Yeah, it got
whatever, but
donated.
ended up just becoming, I don't know, you can't get into the football field anymore, which is a big bummer because Panther Field and the Field House still exist in Austin. You can go see them. You can drive by. They're right across, like you said, from the Austin Bergstrom
Aren't they
Airport.
used by the Del Valley community?
I don't think they do anymore. I
Is
think
it just
they did for a
haunted?
little while.
It's just sitting there
Yeah, it's
haunted?
kind of like the haunted
I was
Panther,
in Austin
the haunted
back in
shell of Panther Stadium.
September or Austin. It was the first time I'd been there in like 10 years. And it was kind of crazy driving from the airport, and you could see the lights. They
Yeah.
went on because it was daytime.
The Friday Night Lights?
The Friday Night Lights from
Yes.
Friday Night Lights.
Wow.
Quite literally.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it was just kind of cool. It was like, oh man, they're still there. I thought better things were going on, but apparently it's just growing weeds. Here's a feel-good story. So I worked on this one thing that shot in Hawaii, so that was good for me.
Wow.
But anyway, it was like supposed to be this doctor show or whatever, and they found. I mean, it was a doctor show.
Off the map?
Yeah, off the map.
Yeah.
Created by Jenna
Woo.
Bands, shout out.
Yeah.
Also creator of
Oh,
Good
yes.
Girls. Anyway, so they found this guy who just has acres of land. It was just overgrown, and they said, "Can we like build a hospital here?" But it was like a jungle hospital, so it was basically like a O shape, but in a square building structure. This guy literally lived in a shack on his property, but when we finished the show, he had a
Hospital
mansion
to live in?
I think there's actually a book out there that's based on this, of like the haunted remnants of like film productions and TV productions. Like there are a lot of these places that are built in the middle of nowhere, and then they're left in the middle of nowhere.
And I did a McDonald's commercial, and there's no way it's still there, but there was this like McDonald's that was strictly used for filming. So it was like a fake McDonald's, and yet like had all the fixins of a real one. So people would like try to pull in, and we'd have to be like, no, it's not. There's no. It was like empty inside, but like looked real from the outside. It was like only for that.
This is courtesy of Kyle Chandler. So he told me that when he was on Grey's Anatomy, he had some tea or water or something. And he was done with it, so he went to pour it out in a drinking fountain in the hallway, and it just like poured on the ground because it was fake.
Yes, do not trust anything.
Classic. Never a
Do not trust
toilet,
anything.
especially
But
a toilet.
RIP Panther Field. We loved playing there, but that's in Del Valley, and that's who the opponent is based upon this week, the Del Valley Cardinals. Surely a much better place to be than Dunston Valley. If this episode is not only football, what was it for you? And Zach told me before we started recording today, I've already done it. I'm ready to go.
God.
He said, I'm coming in hot.
I did my homework.
Which is only exciting because he doesn't usually.
Well,
That's why
we're going to get
like-
way more into what I believe this episode is about later. But
That's good.
For me, it's not only football, it's prejudice, but really it's about some bullshit. I feel strongly there's some bullshit going on in this episode, and it falls on the heels of one sacred Coach Taylor.
Go, girl.
But we'll get into that when we get into it.
Okay. May, if this episode is not only football for you, what is it?
Well, it's not only football. And in fact, I think it is sort of, I have like similar feelings where to me, it's about like skirting the idea of truth and accountability and like the lengths that I read like a quote recently that said something about like, you know, just how far human beings will go to avoid looking at the darkest parts of themselves. And I think like there's a lot of that in this episode of sort of like justification and sort of the inability to stand and actually look at yourself and take true accountability and acknowledge how much you don't know and how you're a dick.
I never.
If this
wanna look at
episode
my
was
inner
not-
dick. It's really hard for me.
I don't want to look at your inner dick either. No offense.
Nobody.
I'm sure it's great.
Okay, moving on. My It's Not Only Football is a little bit lighter. My If It's Not Only Football, it's about how sterling silver and birthstones are the most perfect high school gift. We open the episode with Smash being interviewed outside of the church where the players-only meeting happened at the end of last episode. Waverly snuck him the keys. Him and the other black players on the team have had a private forum and decided to walk off of practice, and he's there actually now publicly speaking. And he says very plainly, you know, I know he apologized, but those are just words. We want action. We want equality. We want to feel equal, and we want to feel respected. And in that scene, over the shoulder of Gaius Charles, just a slight detour, is the man that married my wife and I, Jawan Guillory.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, he started in the office as an office PA, was also acting on the show, and was background a few times, and he's front and center in most of this episode. So Jawan
Cool.
Guillory, big shout out. That being said, the entire town now knows fire Mac or we don't play. Basically, is the stance of Smash and
Well, I feel like
the other players. that
I
are
also
standing
feel like
with
it
him.
kind of gets to that point because of his apology in the last episode.
Totally.
You know, it's like if he had come out and said, "Man, I am sorry. I wasn't just genuinely apologize and realize something about how offensive what he said was," then it's, you know, I think everyone's allowed growth and to learn. My issue with all this is that he gets opportunity after opportunity to save his job. No, it's not even to save his job. No one's even threatening
There's
that.
no learning involved at all. There's no like attempt at like trying to actually understand what the correct way of doing this is and taking accountability. And
Mac in these two episodes, to me, also it's his pride a lot getting in the way. He does not believe that he is racist. He is very prideful in his past, and he will not let a student question him regardless of the fact that he really is wrong. And that was the turning point for me last episode, was when Smash tried to have a one-on-one discussion with him and gave him like this moment to say, Mac, just let's hash this out, which shouldn't be Smash's responsibility, but he did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Mac's response was to, don't question me, son. You have no right. You're too big for your britches, and
Jesus.
storm out on him. And that's, I think, a big reason why we're here as well. But you see the fallout in the coach's training room. Coach Crawley is pulling all of the players' names off the board. If we do not have these players with us, how can we even play a game? Mm-hmm. And for lack of a better term, the show must go on in these coaches' heads. They are saying, how do we play a game if nothing changes?
You look to where you got your quarterback.
JV.
oh boy,
I mean, look at the success they've had with JV Saracen.
It only took a whole bunch of episodes to sculpt your ass into shape.
I mean, but how do you not know these guys already? Like, shouldn't you be the one that you're taking these guys
Can
under
we
their
talk
wing
about Tyler?
instead of
how many times the word coach screams at that guy Tyler? He just says, Tyler, 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 Tyler. And then he's like, what's your grandma's name? What's your grandfather's? How can you remember that and not the play that I...
It's so good. It's so good. But then instead of having Saracen mother hen the rest of his JV guys that he obviously spent some time with, he makes
Mama Riggins
makes like Mama Bird Riggins, like with his little ducklings, like Mama Duck Riggins walking around with
mean
little
little
ducklings.
mama.
He's not good at it.
He's not good.
He's not good at it at all.
No, I also this is just something I caught. Like the first play I call when the JV's with us is White 9. I'm like,
yeah, that did jump out. That did jump out at me as well. We can't be the only ones who caught that. In that scene, though, you do hear Coach Taylor yelling, Tyler, Tyler, Tyler. But you also hear what I want to say are very strong Kitschisms. Okay?
I love this segment.
Oh, that's facts. That's facts. Like, facts, that's a very big Kitschism. Like, that's facts. That's not scripted. That's just him. Give me a break. Very strong Kitschism.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Taylor Kitsch says that off.
Give me a break,
camera.
Coach.
Plenty. Yeah. Give me a break. Another Kitschism. We never hear in the show, but just to let people in a little bit. He calls pizza. He calls them grease wheels. He actually fooled me into thinking that all Canadians called them grease wheels. So when I was in Vancouver shooting a show, and I said, "Do you want to get a grease wheel?" Trying to be cool, everybody was like,
"You got sued."
Oh, what are you talking about, eh? I'm like, grease wheel. Like you guys call pizzas grease wheels. They're like, nobody calls
such
a
a
pizza
weird thing to
grease
say.
wheel.
Yeah, you got to stick to what you know.
Yeah, that was a Kitschism. But at the end of that scene, like we said, Coach Taylor gives him 3 JV players and tells him to teach them. You're married now, gentlemen.
Well, also,
congratulations.
I mean, I guess I knew that he's a captain, but why is he a captain?
Yeah, where did that come from?
I mean,
I think that's just
he's
Hollywood
like
stuff.
not well. I can't believe they just all of a sudden were like, "Go, you do it."
Is it just because he's a senior, but not really a senior? He's a junior,
Is
but
it
not
because
really a
he's
junior,
45?
or possibly
Exactly.
a sophomore.
He's a sophomore captain who is the worst example of anyone else, and plays good sometimes.
But Big Rig, as Zach likes to call him, he comes at this the whole wrong way too for most of the episode.
Yeah,
as far as the separation of the team, how he speaks to Smash Williams, and even his scene in the hallway later when he comes up to Smash and he says, "If you really want me to say it, like, we need you." Like, I mean, that's not
lower the privilege.
It should be right. Smash, this is fucked up, and the way that you were treated is messed up.
And we support you.
And we
stand
support
behind
you and all of these things, but it is just kind of Riggins' way of apologizing, whether it's right or not. But that scene in the hallway, there's actually a ton of it missing. There's actually, like, I'll get to it under review later, I suppose. But there's, or maybe I should do it right now. Under review, my favorite section outside of the teams. That scene, and I'm interested to see why we think they cut it. But he basically turns around and does what Street did with Coach after Street's injury, when he was telling him Saracen's a different kind of kid. He listens to Bob Dylan. He, is artistic. He's all these. You have to teach him a different way. Smash goes down every single one of the players that are going to be important for the team to win without him, and tells Riggins, these are the ways you have to interact with these people. And Smash has such a solid understanding.
Also, more work.
Why didn't he come talk to me?
He shouldn't have talked to anybody.
I'm a captain,
Why don't
too.
you just figure it out?
Well,
Go
no,
talk
I
to
just mean, yes, I should have tried to.
Yeah, give him a break.
Well, because I have another issue that I'm dealing with.
Here we go.
Which in the mind of a 15-year-old is way more important than racism.
Which is what sterling silver item can
which
I
is trying to
afford?
make up with your girlfriend. Okay?
Yeah.
I was wrong. Okay? I know that now.
You went to a calendar shoot and got in a hot tub with a couple of rally girls.
As we all know.
Nothing good
was
happens
for
in a hot
charity.
tub.
That's correct.
That's for charity.
It was for charity, he says.
I've used that one before.
Yeah, you are. And how do you try to apologize first? In the cafeteria?
With a mixed CD. right?
Oh, I think that's
with
cute.
a mix CD, which I guess we can't call them mixtapes, but I would still call a mix
I would
CD
call it a mixtape.
Oh, I call
Like,
it mix CD.
You do?
You do?
Well, that's why.
It's a CD, people.
Yeah, but nobody says that. The whole point is a
Well,
mixtape.
that's-
It's like,
you've been proven wrong because I say it.
well, but you're not like that prominent in
Are you
this area.
you're saying I'm no one?
I'm just saying
Like-
out of there's 3 people here
All right,
and
fine.
2 of us agree, and so it's like,
All right, put up a poll somewhere where people do polls.
Also, just so you know, I'm seeing a big fat part on my favorite under review, which is under review on Zach's iPad as I look over his shoulder. It literally says mix CD question mark. So I'm like, I know it's
No,
weird.
I'm saying as an apology.
Well,
Come on, Matt.
Sure, we'll see.
Yeah. So you agree with Tyra. I love the running theme of Matt Saracen loving Bob Dylan, though. This is like the 4th time we've associated Matt Saracen with Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And they both stutter and mumble and do that plenty and I guess spout poetically at certain times. I don't know. Big dreamers.
I loved Bob Dylan as
know.
a teenager.
Yeah.
Also,
Stop
that's like
liking him.
no, I'm just saying like it's not like like he's really so unique. I mean, he's likes Bob Dylan. I'm like, well, yeah. I feel like it's like very like a grown up.
No, I feel
to
like
be
every teenager, I think it's around sophomore year, goes through a Sublime phase.
Well, I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
in that phase, sweetheart.
Well, everyone
Never
discovers
left.
them. I left.
Santeria.
I want to make some mix CDs of some indie rock.
Also, I feel like a mix CD, as we're apparently calling it now, is like to me it's so thoughtful because it's like you do have to like know the person, and then there's like the transitions into what song, and back when you can actually make mixtapes, you could record little intros and like in betweens. I don't know if you remember that, but you could literally be like, "Hey girl, it's me. Like I just want you to know I'm thinking of you," and then you could like add more. Like
I can't believe I didn't know that.
yeah,
That
it's
would've-
so
my
cool.
God.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
can
god.
Record your own voice.
Yeah, it was very chic. So there's like so much thought that goes into that. So personally, I'd like that, but I'd also like a jewelry.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd like
I'm a
jewelry.
basic bee.
And that's where they decide to go, right? That lunchroom scene. They see that Tyra.
Tyra's like, no.
This is the fun relationship, the beginning
Yay.
seeds of the Landry Tyra situation.
Love.
It's a dangerous liaison, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Somebody will find out in the
Yeah.
future. Landry so quickly changes his tune from being in your corner to just completely and totally destroying you in the hopes of impressing Tyra.
Smart.
You know what? I got to be honest. This is the way my best friend in real life treats me. Mitch. We've all talked about
what's
Mitch
up,
on
Mitch?
this show.
Yeah.
Mitch
He'll
is
throw
like,
me under the bus.
he's like Lois. I'm like,
so
where is this?
fast?
Mm-hmm.
If my wife's like, Zach, he's like, yeah, Zach, why would you do that? That was dumb. Zach, I told you should have gone home earlier.
That's chic, though. You want like somebody who's going to side with your wife. I feel like.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Tyra gives the advice. You end up in a jewelry shop. Very worldly.
Pawn shop.
Landry definitely is, get diamonds. You find out the diamonds are $900. He's like, don't get diamonds. Besides, think about Africa. No one
I love
wants the
that.
blood diamonds. Like, let's go with something else. It's so cute. Saracen knows Julie's
Yes, which is
birthstone.
February. She's obviously born in February. That's the birthstone, so that makes her either a Pisces,
Aquarius, maybe?
Aquarius, or Pisces.
We're not
She's
doing
probably a
this, are
cusper,
we?
honestly. She's serving major
I
cusper.
wonder what's in her rising house.
Because she's like, she's
no.
like intelligent and like communicative, but then she's also very like feeling, and so I feel like she's probably like right on the cusp.
We don't have enough time.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah,
analyze.
He's
talk
July
about football.
14th. He's July 14th.
Oh, yeah, football. I know that's a very like Cancer thing to say that we don't have enough time.
I am a Cancer. How do you know this? Oh,
Because
boy.
I just told her your birthday.
Yeah.
But this was it's not only football. You give her like a sterling silver amethyst.
Yes.
What is it? What
Purple.
I don't know.
It's purple.
Is it a
Do I
little
have one?
necklace?
It's like a heart. Isn't it like some tragic like little heart? I feel
Yeah,
like it's
it's
one
like
of
a
those
little
like
charm or
terrible
something.
swoopy hearts.
That's the
That's
most
all I could
perfect
afford.
like high school gift. It's like
It is.
one of those like go-to things. The first time I ever had anybody I called a girlfriend was in 7th grade. We weren't ever like holding hands was like we are
It's huge.
boyfriend girlfriend, right? Never even kissed her. Shannon, if you're out there, you broke my heart.
Woo.
I went to Walmart. I bought her. This was like I'm older than you guys. This is like Blossom was still on TV.
It's all good.
Great show.
I got her these earrings, but they were like denim.
Ew! Oh my God, Scott!
What does it even
Flag on the
mean?
play. What do we say when we
I
throw
gave
it?
them to her
Major flag.
like a month after holding hands.
Red flag on the play.
And then I went to science I went to my science class,
Which
Mrs.
he had
Mars
to skip physics to go to.
science class, and I saw them in the trash can.
No.
And after class
You
in the
did
hallway,
not.
she broke up with me.
Oh my God.
I gave the wrong gift.
Oh. Yo, that's like, what are the odds? Like the exact trash can,
bad.
the exact right
She
time.
knew my class schedule. You don't think she
like,
knew what she was
delicately
doing?
laid them out.
Just right on the top. She hung them on the outside of the trash can.
That is so good. I remember my first high school boyfriend giving me, who I also held hands with at the roller rink, Osvaldo, if you're out there. He's very good roller blader. Anyway, holding hands, etc. He gave me like a ring that had like terrible, tragic, like, you know, cubic zirconia, whatever. It was like sparkly. And I was like, it was my prized possession. I wore it until it like wore thin. And then I remember we went to the Tam O'Shanter on St. Patrick's Day, which is insane because it's a Scottish restaurant. Yeah, Tam O'Shanter. It's in Atwater. It's like a Scottish restaurant.
100 years old.
But it's also, they have like a big St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's very cozy. And we went there, and I remember for somehow, I don't even know how, we were outside, and I like made a hand gesture, and it like flew off into the bushes of the Tam O'Shanter. And I was like hysterical. I was like crawling around in the bushes in the Tam O'Shanter. I like recruited my friends, and we were crawling around in the hedges of the Tam O'Shanter for like an hour and a half, and we never found it. And I was like traumatized.
It could still be there.
That's what I'm saying.
The place is 5 minutes from my
Ladies
house.
and gentlemen,
I'll go look.
subscribe, smash,
party.
comment if you find my ring
Okay.
in the thing
So
section.
Did you check the lost and found?
the Julie...
No, I'm telling you, it's buried. It's like we need a metal detector. Hey, everybody. I just have to talk about Liquid IV for 1 second because apparently it's festival season, y'all. And I can't do that anymore because I'm 1,000 years old. But I will say I wish so much that they'd had this product when I was going to Coachella because, yes, I went to Coachella.
And it's hot out there,
It's
and you're
so
going to get
hot.
dehydrated. If you're just drinking the water,
Oy.
it's just going to turn into
That's
pee,
right.
maybe a little sweat,
That's
but you're
right.
going to be lacking electrolytes.
That's right.
And the 5 essential vitamins they got in this Liquid IV, the B3, the B5, the B6, the B12, and the vitamin C.
all the B's and the C's.
Yeah, listen, if you're a no-Cella person like me and you're staying home and not going to these music festivals, but you're hitting your workouts, you're still living your daily life, you need to be hydrated as well.
That's true.
And, nobody has more ways to stay hydrated than Liquid IV. I mean, they've got so many flavors that people love, including 2 brand new ones in sea berry and strawberry lemonade, which I can't wait to try. Listen, it's going to be tough to knock guava off the perch, the pedestal I've put it on, but I think sea berry might be able to do it. They've got 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks in Liquid IV. They're made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, they're free from gluten, dairy, and soy.
None of it.
Listen, Liquid IV also believes that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world.
Yeah, did you know that they've donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the entire world?
To date, they're going to keep going. It's going to be more.
Yep.
Yeah, so whether you're going to Coachella, you're going to Stagecoach, any one of
sitting on
those
your couch.
coach festivals, whether you're at home doing
Couch
no
festival.
Coachella, or if you're just wanting to help the world stay hydrated, grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco today, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Friday at checkout.
That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code Friday at liquidiv.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard me talk about therapy on the show in the ads. I'm sure you've heard Mae talk about it.
Definitely. I love therapy. Big fan.
Love therapy. I love single therapy. I love couples therapy. I love group therapy. And I'm not even joking.
Me either.
Because talking through stuff helps you be your best self.
Yeah, it's like just taking an hour to be able to communicate how you feel, that's just time for you, I feel like is so important. It's almost like meditation in a way, but to have like an unbiased person to be there to listen, to help you blow off steam, whatever it might be about. I don't know. I think it's like one of the most important things that I have in my life. I look forward to it every week.
I definitely look forward to it because it's not talking to one of my friends who don't know anything they're talking about. My wife knows a lot of what she's talking about, but sometimes I got to talk about things about my wife.
Totally.
That's why I pay someone to help me talk about it. And I've actually used BetterHelp at points where I just needed some help right away. I took the quick survey. I got matched with Dr. C, who was dope, and she helped me through like a little rough patch in my life. And it was an amazing experience, super easy.
That's really cool because you can fill out a questionnaire and they'll just match you up with somebody, and then you can switch therapists at any time. There's no extra charge. It's pretty cool.
So you deserve it. Get on the internet. Get your BetterHelp. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/FNL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FNL.
The Julie Matt storyline goes forward with both of you, with you and with Julie having somebody in your corner who's maybe not giving you the best advice. You've got Landry. She's got Tyra, who her parents are very upset about her hanging out with. We shouldn't have you hanging out with Tyra anymore.
Wow.
Was it something about one person doesn't wear enough clothes?
The first person, second person conversation that is had after Tammy tells Julie, I don't want you hanging out with Tyra anymore, where Coach Taylor says, the first person is smart and intelligent and responsible. The second person is not those things and gets in trouble and gets suspended. But when that second person starts to get the first person to fall, none of that is in the script. It says that Coach gets a little confused in his train of thought because he's distracted with the Mac thing that's going on. Huh. But Kyle turned it on its side and created this first-person, second-person thing, which is one of the most confusing threads you'll ever follow on the show. And it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
And that's
so good.
all Kyle.
Yeah.
And it's also like sometimes he can communicate with his daughter. A great amount of times, he has trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And I love seeing that.
No, I don't look forward to that part of my life when my daughter is around that age. And I
Dayton.
don't imagine I'll be able to communicate with her
No,
either.
you're just gonna have to rely on Keely and like pray that she's knows what because I have faith in her, so she'll be able to tell you what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't listen.
Nope.
And that leads her to, as Tyra calls it, the women with low self-esteem palace, otherwise known as the Landing Strip, which is the local strip club where her sister Mindy works. She needs to go get some money from her before,
Which, by the way,
Julie
is whack.
And Tyra go
We
see a
stand
movie.
a strip club. We stand sex workers. We're very supportive. And also, the Landing Strip is a sickening name.
The Landing
that's
Strip
brilliant.
is a great name.
And also, when
for it.
Landry knows that immediately they're like, the Landing Strip. And he's like, oh, the Landing Strip. Like, he knows it immediately.
Yeah, the fact that Landry is like, more advice that Landry gives Saracen this episode is look him in the eyes, not in the rack, to which he immediately ignores his own advice. When Mindy walks in the room, Jesse's wonderful and all of that stuff, of course. He's like, look, these women are working hard. I need some singles. Give me some singles, Saracen. Saracen's like, what are you doing? The only reason they're even there is because Saracen is just so head over heels for the coach's daughter that he wants to apologize. He wants to just let her know how much he cares for her. He wants to give her this beautiful birthstone gift. She says, not here, please. Meanwhile, Landry gets the singles, slips out the door, and gets arrested.
I know.
By none other than our first AD, Michael Waxman,
Whoa.
posing
Yeah, I know.
as a police officer. That guy actually was our first AD and then eventually directed a number of episodes
He
as
took
well.
over
right?
for Reiner as the producer-director.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Michael Waxman. Big shout out to, would Connie call him Wax Person?
Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah. Connie Britton would call him Wax Person. So yeah, again, we didn't care who was in the show. We're like, come on, you come out of the office PA and you be an actor on the show and you,
Yeah, we just
you're a
needed,
first AD.
We just need a warm body. I always say, I've gotten a lot of arguments about this. Anyone can act.
Yeah.
There's a role anyone can do. So if you're dreaming of it, you've always wanted to do it, go do it.
Anyone can act.
One role you can do.
Anyone
Inspiring.
can sing. The wrap up
can't
of
sing.
the Julie and Matt storyline is really very, very sweet. And it happens after the team is returned from Dunston Valley. And it's something that you brought up a couple of podcasts ago.
Mm-hmm.
You were upset because something did not happen between Matt and Julie. What was that thing? Do you remember?
I don't, but I'm guessing it's what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Gotta be. And it's in all caps on your iPad. So
Will
hopefully
you be
you
my
can...
girlfriend?
There it is.
You officially ask if she will be your girlfriend, not
Yeah.
just assuming that if you remember.
Well, that's why I shouldn't have been in such a doghouse because, we had never had the
God.
exclusivity talk.
No, she said girlfriend. She slip of the tongue said girlfriend. You were very upset about that as Zach Gilford looking at the situation, but now this is the official ask has happened. Are you happy now?
It's just was unattractive behavior. It's not like she was like, you're officially like a bad boyfriend. She was just like, ew, no.
Yeah, no, I don't stand by Saracen's actions in the past.
You mustn't.
But I did write it all in all caps because it's just such a high school. It's kind of more of a
It's
junior high
so
thing
cute.
to do. I mean, when was the last time? I mean, you and I
Somebody
are both
asked?
married, but like, when was the last time you had that conversation?
I had it not long enough ago. And it was really chic. It like took me back to the time.
I had that conversation with my wife when I was up in Las Vegas with the Friday Night Lights cast. We all went up there for some concert.
I wasn't invited.
Yes, you were. You were there with me. We all went. Minka, Annie, me, you. And I was on the phone with her, and I was like, what do I tell people we are? And then she was at her parents' house in Dallas, and I said, can I just tell them that you're my girlfriend? And her parents have told this story a number of times. She sat bolt right up on the couch. They were watching TV together, and she was like, yes.
Cute.
And it was like, but I mean, I was in my 20s, so that's the last time I had that conversation, in my 20s. So I don't think it's wrong here. I think it's great.
I don't think. No,
It's
I don't
great.
think. I love it.
What's wrong with you? Why can't you?
I'm not. It just seems so nostalgic in a good way.
It is so nostalgic.
For
It's
a time
so cozy.
where we weren't just dating all these people and whatever. We were like, will you be my girlfriend?
I know, it's really
And
sweet.
then they could say, what we used to say with my school? We used to say, will you go with me?
No, you did not.
Yeah.
That's like so like Bye Bye Birdie.
And then it was like, we go together.
Oh my God.
It's a Chicago thing.
I guess. Or Evanston, but.
Guess what? Guess what's in Chicago? Go. Did we go together? Chicago. Whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
Sound off in the comments.
I derailed
about
us.
how that made you feel.
Asking a
Everybody.
boyfriend and girlfriend. Very cute.
Yeah.
Very
I
cute.
love
Very
it.
nostalgic. Me
There's
too.
another
I'm going to
couple-
go home and ask my wife to be my girlfriend.
Smart. Not
Yes,
if I
do
ask her
that.
to be my girlfriend first.
There's another couple outside of the football team and another storyline that's outside of the football team that's very quick, and it's Jason Street preparing to go away to the Paralympic trials to become one of the members of the Paralympic quad rugby team. Probably the biggest under review in this script is the fact that there's a bunch of this stuff. There's way more Street and Lyla than there needed to be. But there's a couple of scenes that are missing. One in particular that rang so false to me was a going away Jason thing at the Garrity household where they're all in Lila's garage. You're there.
Is there a snippet we can read?
Landry's there.
Oh. Did we ever film that?
Is there a
No.
good snippet?
I don't think we did, because what's not mentioned at all is what's happening with the team. Smash's absence, any of that stuff is
Right.
not talked about. It's Jason and Chuck Pierce and Bradley, some dude named Wayne I've never
Who
met
the
before.
f- is Wayne?
Yeah, who the f- is Wayne? But basically, asking all about quad rugby. What is it? How does it work? Are you going to win a gold medal? All that stuff. But then Landry and Saracen there.
Why is Landry there?
I don't know why they're there. And you try to get a drink, and Landry's like, no alcohol. Game night Friday. You're a sloppy drunk. It's like a bunch of stuff that just doesn't seem
So weird.
like in character.
It just seems like they just wrote a scene for fun.
Can we just do a tiny bit? This is my favorite segment.
Jason's in the garage, and I guess all the white football players are sitting there with me.
Yeah, it sounds very
And
privileged.
no one's saying anything, but yeah, it's all right here.
Okay, go.
It's Jason. I say
I'll do
I say
my-
full contact, yeah, but you can't
Be
just
Wayne.
slam it into someone at random. All right?
And can you pass the ball anywhere?
Yeah, pass it or bounce it. You got 10 seconds to do it, one or the other.
Sounds like basketball.
Well, it's kind of, but there's no hoops.
Well, so how do you score?
Well, there's a goal area at the end of each end of the court, and marked off by cones.
Like a soccer goal.
Kinda, but you got to cross the line with the ball in hand.
So you can't kick it in?
Everyone turns and looks at Wayne.
Oh, I guess not.
Jam! Who is Wayne and why oh why?
Why, oh, why? But yeah, Landry and Saracen are there. You
That
get in a
was
big argument. You're telling him he knows nothing about women. He's telling you the only reason you have a woman is because you can throw a football. And there's a little bit of a friend spat that happens. But the one scene that was cut that I wish was still there was Jason and Lyla, because this doesn't get covered in this episode or in the next. Lila's asking Jason if he's okay, because even with all these guys around, he's just so annoyed and so distant, and he's checked out so completely. And he says, yeah, no, I'm fine. She's like, you're not having fun? I thought this would be fun for you. I thought this party would be, great to see your friends. And he's like, no, I can't stop thinking about something. She's like, what? He's like, my dreams. And she's like, oh, the dreams where you think you have your legs back and you feel like you're walking, and which is that's something that happens. Right. It's just science. Like it happens to almost everybody who gets an injury like Jason. And he says, no. He says, that's how it used to be, but lately my dreams, I'm in a wheelchair, and it's not a bad thing. It's just my life, and I'm going about my business, and I'm going to the store, and I'm playing rugby, and I'm hanging with Herc or the boys. I just dream about normal stuff now. I just dream about my own life. And she realizes how high school, her, this town, these guys that are at this party, they're not a part of his dreams at all at this point.
Right.
And that's
Really?
important for his. This is a good turning point for his journey and where he's about to go.
And I wish it would have made it, but there's just so much more important stuff in this episode. I think that they needed to try and get across to try and, tell Smash's story, which is needs way more real estate, and so I understand why it's not there. I just wish in one of the future episodes this conversation still would have been had, because I think as we go forward, there's a little bit of a disconnect on how quickly or how wishy-washy, I guess, if it feels like Jason is. But I remember shooting that, and I remember being that thinking that was a pretty important
But Jason's
scene.
been through it, man. I mean, I feel like from the jump, he's been sort of like trying to transition into this new life, and people have been sort of yanking him back or projecting their own shit onto him. And I just feel like, I feel like as a viewer, I've been witnessing your slow journey into this new area for a long time. And I feel like I get what you're saying, and I like hearing that. It's nice to physically have it in my brain, but I also I like that it's I do feel it, and I like as an outsider almost watching him sort of from a parental place and being happy for him as this sort of thing starts to shift and change, and he doesn't even really know how to describe it yet. He doesn't even really maybe know how to put it into words yet, and I feel like there's something kind of sweet about that.
It's Not Only Football. Friday Night Lights and Beyond is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Now, most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yeah, you're listening to us talk, but you're probably also driving, or you're cleaning, exercising, maybe even grocery shopping. That's what I do. Throw the AirPods in, podcast, while I grocery shop. It's pretty awesome. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. And drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $700 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy or being a homeowner and more. So, just like your favorite podcast, us, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. Let's get into the meat of the episode. And again, this is a continuation of a very tough storyline from the episode before. And we can't possibly have all the perspective that a lot of the characters in this storyline are going to have. And it's left up to the audience to try and consume it, learn from it, understand it, and listen, I guess. And so that's what we try to do. And we'll try and break it down now. It's really the through line of Smash and Mac, and approaching Smash and the players' return to the team and how we get there.
Well, I mean, I think, I think it's some bullshit. And what it is just that, I mean, it's, I'm going to use it, is white privilege that Mac gets no repercussions for his actions. And it's like, well, if you don't want to, you don't want to. And then even when he does do the right thing, it's like, no, I'm not letting you go. Coach is looking for every reason to stick his head in the sand and pretend this isn't going on and figure out how to deal with it.
Skirting.
It's like, why don't you stand up for your players?
Yeah.
And do something about it. And when you see your coach not do the right thing multiple times, you got I would lose faith.
Yeah, it's a real
some
betrayal.
faith in him as a coach, and that's my issue with all of it. And I didn't remember that detail of the storyline so much, because it was 14 years ago or whatever now. But I was watching, I was just so disappointed. I was like, man, we hold him on such a pedestal. He's a great guy. He does a lot of things well, but I was just shocked. This is not
good. Yeah.
I kept on asking why, and it was, why would he do this for Mac when he wouldn't do this for Reyes? why would he allow huge mistakes with false apologies to continue to exist on the team when he wouldn't do it earlier in the season for a young man who clearly has anger issues and stuff? Why does Riggins keep sticking on the team when he shows up drunk and is hyper-violent?
Seriously, I'm noticing a
Why
pattern.
were these decisions made on the storylines of the show? Why is he so sure that Mac is a good person at the end of the day and that he won't let him go? Why does he defend Mac to Tammy in the scene? And it's I'm not going to say beautiful scene. It's slightly infuriating, but it's so wonderfully acted between Coach and Tammy, where he storms into the guidance counselor's office, kicks a student out. And I love how it's the opposite of what he was scared of. He was like, you're going to be the guidance counselor at the school? And it's like he was scared that she was going to encroach upon his ability to do his job all the time.
He's like, help me.
But he says, listen, as a guidance counselor, what do I do with Mac? Fire him. Okay, let me talk to my wife. You have to fire him.
Right.
Okay, who else can I talk to? Your friend. You have to fire him.
Yeah.
And she says it 3 different ways. I know that the show tries to let us in on Mac's history. His father was racist. His father was so angry in Arkansas when they tried to integrate schools that he took his Kiwanis boys. That is a reference that is lost on me. And I think the idea behind it is that like adults are taking young men under their wings and whatever, teaching them whatever. But this is what was being taught. Yeah. And this is what Mac was taught as a child. Mac was taught what his father believed. And Mac knew that was wrong. He says he felt awful. He left Arkansas. He came to Dillon. We find out that he was a major part in integrating the school. And, you know, Coach and Mac are both like, this is the thing that bugged me the most. He's like, you're not racist. I'm not racist. Well, you were a little racist, man. Like, and that's what needed to be addressed. Yeah. And it never was. But he offers his resignation. And in that scene, he does say how much he loves every single one of those boys on the team. And he doesn't want to stand in the way.
Well, it's once again not about the fact that he's racist. It's about football. Well, I'm not going to get in the way of football. I'm going to be a martyr for football. It's like not at all. Yeah. There's no, it's wild. I mean, and like you said before, all those whys and all those questions, it's like the common pattern is like it's minorities versus white privilege. It's like, again, the Riggins, the Reyes, it's like it is a rampant situation.
The only thing I'll say positive about any of this is truly is that they, like we said on the last episode, there wasn't some white savior, some kumbaya. It's like this is God. Like people always liked our show because it felt so authentic. Mm-hmm. And I think what is cool that the writers did, they said, this is what would happen in this situation, and so we're actually gonna hang a lantern on it and not shy away from it or pretend that it goes down a different way. Even someone like Coach Taylor, the way we view him, is very fallible, and we just need to look at that, and it helps move forward in this show, like really understanding what this community is, and it's going to inform all of the characters, and so I think that's actually a positive that we're. Look, sometimes you meet your heroes and they fall short.
Showing the ugliness of it.
Yeah. This is the Coach Mac side, but I do want to say Blue Decker was really great.
Oh, yeah.
As Mac McGill. It's really hard, I think, to step into the roles of a character like that and then somehow still bring just this air of believability and vulnerability to him, which he did when in his resignation scene. Mm-hmm. I really believed everything that he said in there. And I'm not giving the character of Mac a pass. I am saying that Blue did a really good job. I thought he was pretty great in this episode.
Should we shift to the
that being said,
yeah,
I do. Coach doesn't accept the resignation. Before that scene, he has a talk with Tammy and says, she says, you've got to do the hard, this made it easy for you, the resignation. And he goes, well, I know what the easy thing is, but I don't know what the right thing is. And then he's like, Max staying on as offensive coordinator. I was like,
cannot. It's
this is
insane.
not the right. That being said, it's like the idea that Coach is not wanting to, I don't know, to use a modern phrase, cancel Mac McGill. He's like doing the idea of correction culture? Is that like, I don't know.
He's skirting.
He's skirting.
This is that was my football. He's skirting, and look at all the shit that even how much it's in your face, how many people around you are telling you there's a way to learn and be better, and he's doing everything he can to avoid looking in that inner dick.
You don't look at his inner dick.
He does not want to look at that inner dick.
Smash is awesome in this episode. Through all the pressure that's put upon him so unfairly. But you get a lot of conversations with him and various characters where Coach is pretty much just with Tammy and Mac. Smash is interacting with a lot of different people, whether it's Waverly in a scene where Waverly is sure that Mac is getting fired, whether it's, his other players who are saying, when is this going to end? We got to get our jobs back. We're going to be replaced. And he's like, you guys just have to believe me. You just have to trust me. He's 17 or he's 16, whatever age he is, and he's fearless in the face of all of it.
The grace with which he walks through all this.
Insane.
We talked about it with Buzz on the last episode. We talked about it on this so much. It's like, these are kids, but every now and then they slip up and act like a kid. But for the most part, a lot of them carry themselves more maturely than the adults in the world do.
Yeah. But what you see really in this episode is how strong of a leader Smash is.
Mm-hmm.
He shows the world that what Max said about him is not true at all. And he walks the walk after talking the talk. And like you said, with grace, and everyone understands how much this team needs him. And in that deleted scene that I talked about earlier, and I'll let the audience and I'll let you guys decide in your own heads why we think it was cut. In the scene in this episode, Riggins says, I ain't a leader. You know that. I know that. And Smash says, oh, didn't you hear anything Mac McGill said, Rig? You're white, so you're a leader. It continues, and Smash calls Riggs back and says, for real, you don't step up, y'all don't have a chance, you hear? You already got the respect of those boys. I don't know why, but you do. So you just got to tell them what they need to hear. And Riggins says, which is what? And he says, that kid Stager, he's as good a blocker as you, but he doesn't know it. Just throw him a compliment or two. Nico's a rebel looking for a general. He wants to be screamed at, told exactly what to do. Get in his face. Burdette needs to loosen up, laugh a little. So tell him a joke before the play. Tolbert needs silence. Don't talk to Tolbert at all. Don't even look at him. He says, that all? And he goes, no. You have to get every single one of them dudes to believe for you, Riggs. That's the only way to do this. You have to make them believe that you believe that y'all can win this game.
I think they cut it because it's way too much talking.
It is
too much talking, and it's too much like, it's it's almost like too inspirational about like this situation that is unresolved, and putting too much on Smash of having to teach once again, teach, when it also, is nice to hear Smash he's so, it once again gives insight to how aware and conscious he is. And it's like that he knows every single person and knows every single thing on that team. It's like, it just shows like another layer of him that's like really beautiful, so it's like great to hear it. But I do think it I don't think it necessarily serves the storyline.
A scene that's still in the show that's fantastic is what his mom says to him.
A couple of quotes I wrote down was, "You're not a million-man march. Stop trying to teach a lesson to a bunch of fools." Which is so true. And it's also, you're a high school student. This isn't your... Yeah, like, how are you going to change this whole culture, all of this? Mm-hmm. And what are you sacrificing to do so? And is now the time to do it?
Yeah.
It's a really tough thing. And I feel like for her in that position of being like supporting your kid, and especially when like he's trying to do something that's the right thing and trying to really stand your ground about the right thing. And then so it's like, how do you support while also making sure that, you're not playing into the system that ends up ultimately keeping him down, and making sure that he can have a platform that's actually going to be able to make the change. It's really tough.
Her point, exactly what Zach is. How are you going to change the minds of a bunch of fools? And we've talked about it with Tyra, like trying to tell this town to wake up. This is Smash and his way telling this town to wake up. But her saying, look, the reality is people who refuse to even acknowledge that racism exists aren't going to have their minds changed at all.
Right.
How you change minds, how you change the system, how you change the future is to get a scholarship, go to school, have an amazing career, make money, and then turn around and utilize that platform to make real change. Smash comes back, and I remember being young and going, why would he ever come back? But again, I'm watching, and I'm like, Mama Smash.
Yeah.
Mama Smash, man. Liz Michael. She's
well, it's
wonderful.
also, I mean, this is one of the things, too, you know, Coach and Tammy get all the credit as, like, good parents, and they're great parents. But it's, you know, finally when someone has a parental figure giving them good advice, you know, it allows them to be who they are, which is a 16, 17-year-old, and talk through things.
Also, I think in the next couple episodes, like I didn't love a lot of elements of Coach and Tammy's parenting. I was like, I think there's some things to be learned here, which actually was kind of soothing to me. I like seeing them not be what I would consider to have healthy behavior and healthy communication with their kid. And yes, it gets better and they learn and they're changing and da-da-da, but it's once again the truth of a situation of not perfect parenting. These people are not perfect. They're massively flawed.
That's right. Friday Night lives in the Grays, and they live in this is a situation that happens, and how you would deal with it, you're not preached at. You're not told how to approach a situation. You just watch something that could be very real in the town next to yours, and it just tells you the story, and you take it as you take it. And one thing, though, I think we can all agree on is Dunston Valley sucks.
They suck.
They suck beyond sucking.
Smash brings the 16 players that have walked back with him to board the bus and go. Mac tries to offer an apology. Smash says, I'm not back because of you. I know who you are. But he's also there for himself. Mm-hmm. And he's there for his brothers on that field. And Dunston Valley tries everything they can to destroy him. Face masks, late hits, punches thrown on the stage.
Ref isn't doing shit.
Ref isn't doing shit. Challenge flag on the referee.
Come on.
Throw all the flags at the referee.
Yeah.
Not doing a damn thing. But Smash is staying cool the whole time. Breaking tackles, scoring touchdowns. How does he change
Such a star.
everything? He just goes out there and balls.
Star.
You know,
out.
he shows everyone he's better than them.
Yeah.
In
Exactly.
every
He
sense of
is.
the word, talent-wise and character-wise.
Yep.
And, you know, finally Big Rig lays one of those players out, and it's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because it's a little.
Violence is bad.
Well, no, violence is great on a football field, but it was
Right.
a little like, I don't know. It was a little icky in like the,
Yeah.
the white player
Of
now.
course.
It doesn't feel earned because
Yeah.
Smash and Riggins don't really talk. They have a small section of the script where they kind of talk in the hallway. I mean, I'm sorry, on screen where they kind of talk in the hallway. Smash is doing so well, not needing you to step up for him.
Right.
And then Riggins, it's just what he did to Lyla in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
Riggs thinking that he's doing something that is for someone else when really it's just for him.
Well, I think
And it's
really,
like-
truly, he actually did nothing wrong in any sense. I think the writers did something wrong because it's just not needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's why
Agreed.
it creates this debate. I
Right.
mean, I think if were this real life and that
Yeah.
were to happen, it would be honest.
But one of the players for Dunston Valley calls Smash Williams a name.
Yeah.
And that's what sends Riggins off the deep end. And then the
It
fight
is.
happens.
They get sent home in their pads.
Yeah, true story.
yeah.
3 quarters are played. Panthers are winning. They call the game because of violence,
But then
which
this
now
stupid-
the ref is like being like, yeah, we can't let this game continue.
All of a
What?
sudden.
This
I
is
can't.
your fault. We're here because of you.
And that other coach was screaming. I
Yeah.
was like, sit
He
down.
was very upset.
Also, you know what? How come it's bad to go home in your stuff just because it's uncomfortable?
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
and you can't fit in the chairs. I mean, you got your pads like all tucked in.
Okay.
Usually you get out of your uniform, you take your pads off. The pad is loaded. I mean, all the pads and everything are loaded by the equipment team
Mm-hmm.
into, whatever space of the bus or whatever, and you change into dry clothes.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah,
dirty,
yeah,
muddy,
yeah, yeah.
sweaty, whatever.
Yeah.
Ew,
But
yeah.
Yeah,
but
it's
Coach
just a bad
Taylor
look.
Yeah. Bad
in
look,
that
bad
locker
feel.
room, and again, I wasn't happy with Coach Taylor in that locker room.
No, I'm
He's like, wipe those
fucking
smiles off your
fuming at
faces.
Coach Taylor.
This isn't who we are. This isn't what we do.
Not a good look for him.
All episode long, you've not been standing by your players, and now you're coming down on them for standing by each other on
It's
the field.
insane.
I was confused by Coach this episode.
But then this town can't
I'm
even
mad
like
at him.
they can't help themselves.
I hate him.
I'm mad at him.
I'm mad at him.
So mad at
I'm
him.
really mad.
But then this town, the cops pull over the bus to try and like
Ugh.
an assault warrant or something like
Can't.
that. And then, this is the moment where Mac kind of finally steps up for Smash
God.
in a way. And
I'm also like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Here's what I do want to say about this. It felt very TV movie kind of
Yeah.
moment.
Bad.
But what I do want to say is this shit happens.
Yeah.
This shit does happen. And so while it was very TV movie, it was also incredibly scary to me.
It was terrifying. That was the most important thing. Like Mac and his stupid bullshit. But like, it was terrifying. Honestly, like I really like that was a very serious moment, and I think like I think it's an entirely different takeaway and that than what maybe even was intended for that scene. But it was really, really scary.
Yeah. To me, it was terrifying. They get home, they get off the bus, and Mac and Smash have a moment. And Mac says,
they made a mistake, just like I did.
I'm like,
which is, again, it's like, the hope coming out of this episode for me is that Mac really does realize where he was wrong and that he starts to see each of these individuals as actual individuals with unique perspectives and where they come from, and that matters to him. Not every player is the same person.
Right.
You cannot speak about people in generalizations and all of these things. I hope he wakes up. That's the hope.
or saying you don't see color. I'm like, it's.
Yeah.
I hope he. Did they have Google yet? I hope they went
I think
home.
it was coming. I think it was in its
I
infancy.
hope he went home to ask Jeeves and was like, "How do I not be and have my inner dick hanging out at all times and be a ally for real?"
Yeah, and that's the hope. And for whatever good he's tried to do in the town, I hope he realizes that it's not enough. You can't do one thing at one point in time and expect it to define you as something for the rest of your life, whether it be good or bad. You have to continuously learn and grow. Last episode, Zach talked about having open forums where he was in Chicago. And, I think Dylan should talk about things more, and they should understand that these things exist, and education is key. And I hope that people have learned something in the town through all of this, and it's not hatred. Okay. Overtime. We covered pretty much everything. I don't really have much left for overtime.
All I'll say is that the Kiwanis thing seems like they seem good. I haven't done enough research about it, but it does seem like it's almost ironic because what they were founding to do was to create opportunities in communities and to especially when it comes to hunger and all this stuff like that. So it's interesting that Mac tosses that out at this moment when it's that is something that Yeah,
let me be clear. I don't know what Kiwanis is, and their mission statement is awesome. Him just saying that his father was twisting that in a much different way and teaching lessons that shouldn't be taught to kids. And that happens a lot, and it's unfortunate. My only overtime thing is the way Adrian Palicki said what to Landry when he walked into the stripper's dressing room and was like, hi, Tyra. And she goes, what? Why are you talking to me? Was maybe my highlight.
Brain overload of why, who are you? Why are you here?
Why are you here? It was my favorite part of the episode. We have one question from the press box. I want to make sure that we answer one of them. We've taken a couple of weeks off.
You're the casting.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it this episode, but Lynn Mueller said, Scott has mentioned that local actors were used in the series. Who were some of them and the characters they played? And it ranged from whether it was the pawn shop owner who actually owned that pawn shop and was just a local person who they found and were like, hey, do you want to play this role? Whether it's a main character, Luann Stevens from Dallas, Brad Leland from Dallas, Liz Michael from Dallas. They are all found by local casting in Austin, Texas. Whether it be later main cast members, Madison Burgess, who came onto the show after I left. They found her in Austin, Texas. That was not an LA audition. Or whether it was any number of our coaches like Tim Crawley, or anybody that you see, really, you could start to assume probably came from Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just helped all the authenticity of the show. So, Lynn, I hope that answers your question. That's going to do it for us today. If you have other questions that you would like us to answer, or if there's something we missed that you would like us to explore further, please go to the Apple Podcast rate and review section. Leave us a little review. Subscribe to the podcast. It helps more than you can know. And leave us a comment there, your question. Or go to YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, and hit that bell so you never miss another episode of It's Not Only Football.
Like it if that's a thing there.
Yeah,
just
like
do all
it,
the
smash
things.
it.
Do all the things. Do all the things, everybody. Smash it.
There's a smashing.
Smash
the like button.
Smash the like button. It's so great having you guys here every single week. We thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next Thursday for another episode of It's Not Only Football Friday Night Lights and Beyond. For myself, Scott Porter.
I am Mae Whitman.
I am Zachary Guilford.
We say clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Peace.